Bare feet on a broken floor, dreams were whispers behind a closing door. Nights so hungry, days so long, but in the silence I found a song. I sang to the shadows, I sang through the pain, hoping my voice could cover the rain. Every note carried what I couldn't say, every tear was a prayer that wouldn't fade away. Even when we had nothing, I still had my song, a fragile little voice, but it kept me strong. From the ashes of sorrow, from the hunger and fear, I kept on singing to keep my heart near. Even when we had nothing, I held on. Hand-me-down clothes, a torn old dress, but hope stitched itself in the emptiness. Mama's tired hands, Daddy's weary eyes. I learned how to turn the hurting into lullabies. I sang for my brother, I sang for my kin, to drown out the hunger, to heal from within. The world never listened, but I still believe that a voice born in struggle could still be received. Even when we had nothing, I still had my song, a fragile little voice, but it kept me strong. From the ashes of sorrow, from the hunger and fear, I kept on singing to keep my heart near. Even when we had nothing, I held on. And tonight these lights are brighter than the pain. They shine on the girl who survived through the rain. I'll sing for the children who cry in the night. I'll sing for the broken who still seek the light. Even when we had nothing, I still had my song. It carried me here where I've belonged all along. For the ones who feel unseen, for the ones who can't stay, I'll give you my voice, I'll sing it your way. Even when we had nothing, I was never alone.
Good evening. My name is Sophia Miller. I'm 19 years old, and standing here today feels like something I could only dream about. I come from a very small town, a place most people have never heard of. My family has always struggled, not just a little, but every single day. There were nights when dinner was a piece of bread split between my brother, my sister, and me. There were days when I went to school wearing the same torn dress because we simply couldn't afford anything else. My parents worked harder than anyone I know, my father taking odd jobs, my mother cleaning houses. But still, there were times when the lights went out because the bills weren't paid, times when our home felt like it was falling apart. In those moments, music was all I had. I didn't have instruments or training. I had my voice. I sang while carrying buckets of water. I sang while sweeping floors. And I sang to my brother and sister when they cried from hunger, just to help them forget for a moment. Singing was my way of surviving. There were many times I wanted to give up. I thought, who would ever listen to a poor girl like me? Who would ever care about my voice when I had nothing else to offer? But then I realized that's exactly why I needed to sing. Because music doesn't belong to the rich or the perfect or the lucky. It belongs to anyone who has a story, anyone who has a heartbeat, anyone who refuses to be silenced. Tonight, I don't stand here as someone polished or perfect. I stand here in the same kind of clothes I've worn all my life, old, patched, and worn out. But I believe that dreams are not measured by the price of your dress or the size of your house. They are measured by the courage it takes to stand here, to sing anyway, to share your truth even when it hurts. So, this is not just my performance. This is for every child who feels invisible, for every family who wonders if tomorrow will be kinder than today, for my little brother and sister who still believe in me, and for my parents who taught me that even when you have nothing, you can still give your heart. I am here to sing not because I've had an easy life, but because I've had a life that taught me the meaning of hope.
Sophia, I have to be honest with you. I don't think I've ever seen someone walk on this stage looking so fragile, and yet, the moment you opened your mouth, you became the strongest person in the room. When you first started talking about where you came from, about the hunger, about your family, about wearing the same dress every day, I think everyone here felt the weight of that. And then you sang, and suddenly poverty, pain, hunger, and fear turned into something beautiful. Your voice, it wasn't just a sound, it was a lifeline. It felt like every single note carried years of struggle and every single lyric carried years of hope. What struck me the most was that you didn't come out here polished, you didn't come out here pretending to be someone else. You stood there in the same torn dress you've lived in, and you showed us that music doesn't care about clothes or money or status. It cares about truth, and tonight your truth was louder than anything we've heard. I want you to know something, people watching this at home, people sitting in this audience, people who may feel invisible or unworthy, they will see you and they will feel seen because of you. That is rare, that is powerful, that is why this show exists. Sophia, your parents, your brother, your sister, they will never forget this moment, and neither will I. You didn't just sing a song, you carried your entire life, your family, and every child who has ever felt forgotten into that performance. And you reminded us all that greatness doesn't come from perfection, it comes from courage. And Sophia, tonight, you were nothing short of great.